Hello everybody. Sorry about the slight delay there, but we're back at it, ready to go in to do some work. For today, our agenda is to remake the tutorial because if you recall, I stripped out all the tutorial code. The plan now is to make the tutorial just part of a normal gameplay run, and we're going to do like a more hint style tutorial where the tutorial will contextually show up based on like what's happening. So if you need to be taught about alchemy, for instance, then maybe, that will happen after you do a couple of combat encounters or, I don't know, stuff like that. We're going to be looking at the old code that I removed for all the like tutorial states that I had previously. And we'll be trying to like modify those, bring those over to the new system, but we'll see how it goes. But anyway, before we get into it, I want to remind everyone that Alchemortis is available for wishlisting on Steam. It's a dark fantasy roguelite auto battler where you can create your own builds with alchemy. So if that sounds cool, definitely check that out. You can also support the game on Patreon if you're interested. If you subscribe at this top tier for at least 1 month, I'm going to send you an Alchemortis Steam key when the game launches, so you won't need to purchase it on Steam, and your name will also be listed in the in-game Alchemortis credits. So that would help me out a ton. And I also have the Udemy courses available for sale. So if you want to learn how to build games in the Godot engine, this is a great way to support me and a great way to learn how to do that. So check those things out. The Discord is also linked in the description below. If you are interested in joining the community, come in and hang out and everything. Anyway, let's get right into it. Hello, Clickertail. Welcome back. Ninja Link, good to see you. Welcome, welcome. Good morning, the Malicious Rabbit. Welcome back. Kelso, good to see you again. Good to see you. Alrighty. So, if we look at the tutorial guide here, so I kind of I resurrected the tutorial guide scene and script. The script is totally different, but the scene is back here. So this is our tutorial guide. It's just a canvas layer with this little skull guy that we can use to point out various things. And then this tutorial guide, instead of being a state machine, let's see. Instead of being a state machine, this is basically now just a list of tutorial states like so. We've got a state ID, we've got an enter action, we've got an entry condition, and a completion condition. And so the way that this is going to work is we have a list of tutorial states here. Each state has its own state ID. The reason why it needs to have a state ID is so that I can save it in the save file so I know which tutorials you've been shown, basically. And then we have an entry condition. So the way that this is going to work now is it's basically it has a whole list of states, potential states, right? And what it will do is in order, starting with the first element all the way to the last, it will find the first state where the entry condition is satisfied, and then we'll enter that state. So this allows me to prioritize different tutorial states as well. So let's say that for whatever reason, I could show the player one of two little tutorial tooltips or whatever. I can control which one takes priority by just changing the order of the ordered states here. And then the completion condition, this is just determining when we can remove or get out of that state. So when the state is completed, it will be added to the completed states hash set here, which will ultimately be persisted to disk, and then it will go on. So all of that is happening inside of this process states. This process states basically it will handle if we're currently in a state, then we will check the completion state. If we completed it, we'll set the current state to null. Otherwise, if we haven't completed it, we're just going to return out of this. So this process state is basically going to be a no-op if we're currently in a tutorial state that has not been completed yet. And if we're not in a state, it's going to just iterate over each element in those ordered states. It's going to check, okay, what is the first state that is not completed and that matches the entry condition? If so, we're going to enter that state. So I hope that this pattern is going to work. What is this? Deferred process state. I don't think I want that. Actually, maybe I do want that. Private void. Okay. Actually, we don't need any of that either. Oh my goodness. The cat has decided to bring a very, very crinkly ball into the office, and he's actively crunching it right behind me. Very cool. Very cool. Thank you, cat. Deferred process states. Deferred process states. Okay. So I can show you how this is working. It's working pretty well for the one very simple state that I've brought in so far. Which, you know, hey, small victories, right? If it would start. Okay, so yeah, we've got this guy. So what's interesting about this is that I can add more sophisticated checks. So for instance, this this enter state movement, it's just choosing a random node connected to the current node. But I can add some entry conditions in here. So like this entry condition is I have to be in the map idle state from the run manager, and my current node connections, all of the connections, or at least one of the connections rather, needs to be not visited and not a combat type. So the reason why I need this is because, again, with the save file persistence, it may be the case that, or not even just the save file persistence, but I may want to support the player being able to reset the tutorial tooltips, right? And so I need some more conditions, because when I was doing the tutorial previously, it was just like, oh, it's a tutorial map. I generated a specific map for the tutorial, and then I know that the player is always going to start on the start node, right? But I could see a situation where the player enables the tutorials, resets the tutorials, whatever, and they are like pretty deep into the map actually. Like there's no guarantee that they're going to be on the start node. So that's why these entry conditions are going to be useful, and that's why the ordering matters. So this this will not fire, or this will not enter that state movement unless there's at least one connected node to the current node that is not a combat node or visited. Hello, Jacket Daytona. Welcome back. Good to see you. I did the phalanx, but it's not great. But we will, if we have time on this stream, we will add the abilities for that as well. So anyway, let's see how many of these states we can get done. And I also have, this is going to be a little bit. So I have this old file here, which I'm actually just going to go ahead and pin. So these were all my previous states that are commented out. So let's just do, let's see. Let's see. I mean, this is basically just going to be the same exact thing here. Interstate combat movement. Oh, I just realized that this logic is actually wrong here. I need to copy this. Okay, so down in the interstate combat movement, X is combat type, order by first or default. We don't need this condition there. Okay. Let's see. Let's do this. Let's see. I don't know what this exact wording is going to be, but we will give that a shot. Hello, Snupbill. Thank you for the IDR 20,000. Hey, we're back. Yeah, we are so back. Yes, indeed. Welcome back, Snupbill. Always good to see you, and thank you for the IDR 20,000 once again. I have the ability to earn on this channel again. Finally. So thank you. Very much appreciate that. That will go into the McDonald's fund, of course. So this completion condition, so this is going to be... I think I'm already running into a problem with this. Let's see what happens, though. So if I go here... So what happens if I go this way? Doesn't, it just pops out. That's okay. Defeat their forces. I don't know, to earn rewards. To harvest blood, something like that. Okay. So I think ideally what I would want to do is... So this is going to be marked as complete even if I don't visit a combat node. So I would want to maybe... let me think about this. I probably want to set completion condition. When does the current node get set in the run manager? Yeah. So the current node is always going to be the last clicked node. So this can become context.currentNode node event type is equal to event type.combat. I think that will work, but I need a way. So that's the completion condition. Maybe I enter maybe I do like a fail condition or something. What would happen if I do that? So if I do func event state machine context bool, maybe I'll just call it exit condition. So if I go here and I do an exit condition, I could say ctx not ctx dot run manager dot is map idle. Okay. So then in here, what I can do is in process states, if we've completed the condition, we're going to pop that out. Completed states add current state ID equals null. Otherwise, actually, if let's just do var completed is equal to active state dot completion condition context var failed is equal to active state dot exit condition invoke context is equal to true. So if completed or failed, we're going to say if completed here. So we're only going to mark it as completed if it was completed. But for the failure state, we're going to basically like treat it. What the heck happened here? For the failure state, we're basically going to treat it as if it's just exiting that state, but without marking it as complete. So that might be a little bit weird, but let's just see what happens. Let's just see what happens. Okay, so it wants me to go there. I think this one will be completed regardless of where I go, so I'm just going to go here. And then, so the other nice thing too is I could potentially do upgrades, or I could do tutorials for like interacting with these various events, right? So I could add little explainers for like, what does the card upgrade do, right? So the first time you encounter a card upgrade, it will tell you what's going on there. So let's do this. So if I go here, that shouldn't do anything, but if I come back, it should pop out that combat again. Yeah. So you see how it's doing the combat again. So it knows that I'm not visiting a combat node when I do this. And then when I come here, it knows that none of the connected nodes are combat, so it's not popping that combat thing again. Now, if I were to go here, it should pop back up. Well, unless I accidentally change that node. It changed the node. Okay, so I guess it's not going to pop up. That's okay. We'll go to the booster here. But it's good to test all these situations because that's going to be very useful. Cool. So you can see that this is working now. So if I go here, that should be marked as completed now. By the way, I think I did this off stream, but I reduced the turn cooldowns of everything again to slow the combat a little bit. I think it's feeling a little bit better, but we're gonna have to figure out what to do about that. But it used to be like I calculated out the average turn cooldown previously for all the cards in the game was something like 9.5 turns or whatever. And I think the average turn cooldown now is something around like 14 or 15. So the reason I did that is like, that's going to help to slow down the combat, because there's this relationship between like how fast do the status components, like the statuses proc, right, versus how fast can they be applied. So that should hopefully rein in the amount of burstiness of the game. But there's also opportunities to like still have higher or lower turn cooldown cards that can go multiple times before like another card goes. So I think that there's more room now to like slot cards into like different turn cooldown buckets. I think what I can also do with that is I can make individual cards feel a lot stronger now if they have longer turn cooldowns, because they just don't execute as often. But we'll see. You know, I think this is something that we'll have to play test for sure, but I think it's feeling good so far. Also, I added this choose only one text to this. I don't really like how that's presented, but that's just to address to hopefully improve the clarity of when only one card can be chosen. So we'll grab that. So now if I go back here, so that combat should be completed now, so it should not show up again if I go here. Okay, perfect, great. And we have some debugger errors. Handle not initialized, that's fine. Okay. Now we're going to get into some trickier states here that need to be addressed. So let's see. So when we enter the combat, we're going to need to do that. So place cards on your board to prepare for combat. This one is going to be necessary for sure. Okay, all right. So let's copy this one. Now, one thing too is well, we can think about that in a second. I'm thinking that let's just do the happy path for now for this one. Enter state inventory. So this will be the let's see, context. This, it needs to be items. Drag items onto your board to prepare for combat. It has no look at anchor here. That's all right. Ordered states.add new tutorial state. Public const string inventory. So we're going to want to do ctx.currentNode.node event type. Do I have what's all in this context object here? Event state machine context. Get state machine for event. So state event. Emit signal event entered. Okay. So I think here I might need to do another. So we got is map idle, public bool is in event. Do I want to do that? Is in event, state event, state combat. State combat setup. State combat preparation. Okay, I think I want this to be is in combat. So let's do public bool is in combat preparation. Okay. So the entry condition, we can change this to ctx.runManager.is in combat preparation. Completion condition. I'm not listening for when the boards change, am I? On reevaluate, let's see. So basically the way that I'm doing this is like this, these states will be advanced when travel is entered, when map idle is entered, boss entered, player resurrected, event entered, event finished, so on and so forth. Connect to inventory open, closed, player died. Connect to combat started. Oh, I don't want to do this. That would have been bad. Okay. Hello, Chris. Good morning. Welcome, welcome. Hello, Ariane. Welcome back. Good to see you. So completion condition, connect to combat started. So this would be is in combat preparation. Public bool is in combat. Or no, I do need to connect to player board change. So var run manager is equal to this dot, or not run manager. Var board manager this dot get board manager. Board manager dot get player board dot board inventory component dot connect to board state updated on reevaluate board, I guess. Oh wait, no, I could just do on reevaluate. Unexpected false, cool. Why is this so dang buggy? Why is this so dang buggy? All right. So is in combat preparation, completion condition. I guess I shouldn't have renamed that. Anyway. We have the player board here, so I can use the context. So completion condition ctx dot player board dot board inventory component dot get cards on board dot length is greater than 0. And we have the exit condition here, which would be something like ctx not ctx run manager is in combat preparation. I see you using lots of callbacks. Did you ever run an async races with C# closure system? Not that I'm aware of. Not that I'm aware of. Yeah, maybe, but I haven't encountered anything like that, no. I'm not using a whole lot of async anyway. Although I suppose it could be a possible issue here because I have an await there. So if I were to, for example, do the exit condition prior to this await being finished, that might put it in a bad state, but we don't have to worry about that right now. We'll figure it out. I think that should be simple enough to handle. I would just need to store some kind of state about whether the skull-like event is currently valid and then just not do anything. So let's go here. Let's be a good player and follow the tutorial guide. We're gonna skip though. So I'll go here now. Hello Emerson, welcome back. Good to see you. Skip this one too. Okay, we should see the combat thing. The Inquisition is on the march. Defeat their forces to harvest blood. Go here. Oh, and I already have a card on my board, so that didn't actually end up taking effect, I don't think. Let's see. Or maybe that just didn't work. Let's see. Completion condition. Wait a minute. Entry condition. Maybe that just didn't work. This is going to be a nightmare to debug too. I suppose I can put some logs in here. Data initializer.log.debug. Completed tutorial state there. else, failed tutorial state. We might as well log here as well. So we'll just put those logs in place. So that we can maybe keep track of what's happening a little bit easier. Oh, that's so much fun. This is unbelievable peak game dev, redoing a system that I spent a bunch of time on, and I have to spend a bunch of time on it again. That's how game dev goes. Yep. It's all right. We're going to make this. We're going to make the game really good. We're going to make it feel good. And if that means that I have to rework all kinds of systems all the time, then so be it. Okay. Entry conditions are not met. Entry conditions are not met. So the inventory state entry condition has not been met because this is in combat preparation. Is not working. So state combat preparation. You know what I could do? State machine. Let me see. Get current state. You know what may be easier here? So I've got a bunch of signals emitting when the state changes, which is good because I need to know which state it is, but what I might do is I might add a signal to this state machine. Emit the state change signal there. Then what I can do in Run Manager here is I can do state machine dot state changed plus equals on state machine state changed. And then what we can do is we can do a signal up here. Signal public delegate void state changed event handler. And then we'll scroll down here. So now I'm going to be able to refresh that tutorial state whenever the Run Manager state changes. So I'm not going to, if I need to know what state it is, I'm going to have to go and get more information, but I think that should work. And then I can do Run Manager connect to state changed on reevaluate. And so hopefully that will make that good. So anytime the Run Manager state is changing, I will reevaluate. Hello, Rookie Tookie, welcome back. Good to see you again. Unit testing is sometimes important, unfortunately. I do have unit testing for one thing here. Where is that? Ability key uniqueness test. So I have these. I have not yet tested if this works in my workflow, in my CI workflow, but this, it's very important that every card every card ability or every item ability, we're calling them items now. That's the new memo. The memo went out. But every item ability, it has to have a unique key. And if it doesn't have a unique key, that could like break. It wouldn't break things, but it would create an unintended result in some situations. So I do have one actually important unit test in here, which is just making sure that every card ability, every item ability has a unique key for that card. So yeah. Thank you, Negate, for the what is that, Australian $2. Thank you very much appreciate that, and welcome back. Good, I can finally donate on YouTube. Yeah, feels good, right? Feels good. Finally got all my information migrated over, but yeah, thank you again. I very much appreciate that. Hello, Nano. State machines, my favorite. I've implemented many. Yeah, state machines are very useful in a lot of cases. Okay, so we're gonna go here. Well, that's not working quite right, is it? So here's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so set as default layer here, cool. And I think there's probably more I can do to streamline how this skull is being handled, but we'll figure that out later. Of course, I'm not persisting those tutorial states yet either, so we'll skip this. Go here. Drag items onto your board to prepare for combat. Items will execute their abilities when their turn comes up. So that state is not working. This completion state, let's see. I wonder if it never connected to this. Possibly it didn't. So I think there's like order of operations issue here. I think the player board maybe is not registered by the time we get into this ready method. So we'll connect to the board registered signal, and then for every board that gets registered, we'll just check if it's the player board. And we can also do board, we could do be fancy, disconnect from board registered. Oh, but I'm gonna need to store that action. That's fine, whatever, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. All right, let's try that. Can Godot do Android, iOS, and web builds? Yes. Yes, indeed. Thank you, Swabby Games Live, for the raid of 7 people. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to the raiders. Right now, I'm working on a tutorial system for my game Alchemortis, which is available on Steam. It's a dark fantasy roguelite auto-battler with themes of necromancy and alchemy, where you can use alchemy to create your own builds. So if that sounds interesting to you, there's more information below. And welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Yeah, not web if you're using C#. That's true for sure. So we'll go here now. Drag items onto your board to prepare for combat. Why is that not working? Why is that not working? I guess I should see connect to board state updated. Let's just do reevaluate. I wonder if it's not connecting to the player board there. Hello, Dr. Hamnesia. Welcome, welcome. The game looks well polished. How long did it take you? It's been basically a year. So I started this game in March of 2025. Of course, it is now March of 2026. So it's been about a year of development so far, and we're going to release the game this year. So we're getting to the finish line here. We're getting to the finish line, but still a lot of work to do. I remember seeing you work on the game a while back. I think it looks really good. Thank you. Thank you. Are you working on a game, Swabby Games? I assume so. I assume so, but let's see. Thank you, Amdex. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. Okay, let's see. Yeah, it's not triggering the reevaluate, so it's not connecting to... It's not connecting to this player board state update. Why is that not happening? So in initialize setup player board, it's registering the player board. It's so it is registering the board, but it's not logging the player board as being set at this point. That's okay. So what we could do here is we can do, we'll just set a flag on this. Connect flags dot deferred. Okay, that should fix it. I'm actually 100% positive that's going to fix it. So let's remove that log there. Looks great. I've almost got my prototype ready for playtesting. Just need to fix up a few things and add some simple sounds and music from free packs, then I'll be ready to play. Awesome. That's a good feeling when you get your game to a state where it's like a cohesive experience and other people can play it. Working on a game inspired from Dome Keepers, a 3D base defense mining. Oh, very cool, very cool. Still a very new dev though, so it's going to take a while. That's all right. I mean, it takes a while even if you're not a new dev, so yeah. But yeah, that's cool. I like those kinds of games. I think they're very, I don't know, those like horde survival defense kind of games are very fun generally. Feels kind of like cheating to use assets, but I'm not an artist, so I think I might just get the sprites and use them as a baseline to edit them to my needs. Yeah, I think I don't see a problem with using assets really. I mean, The major problem with using assets is, yeah, like if a bunch of other people are using the same assets, then you risk your game kind of looking generic, I guess. But I think that's, I don't know, are you making a 3D game? Because I think what a lot of people do for 3D at least is they'll get the assets, the models and whatnot, but they'll like retexture them to some degree to make them look unique, or like slightly change the geometry or something. I think with like pixel art or just like 2D art assets, it's a little bit harder to do that. But I don't think there's anything wrong with using an asset per se. I mean, all the sound effects in my game are coming from assets. Like I don't personally think there's really any reason to like record your own sound effects. I mean, Hollywood movies don't even do that, right? Like if you pay attention and you watch like a lot of movies, you'll notice like the same exact sound effects are being used movie to movie to movie. So not even Hollywood creates everything from scratch, right? They're using asset libraries too. So I don't think it's a problem. Okay, perfect. So now we have to get into the state where it actually tells you how to start the combat. Oh, Lord. I should probably change this too to be brighter as well. Maybe I will log that really quick. Change combat start button to use brighter color scheme. This is in progress. Okay. All right, so now we need to get this state working. Does this do anything? Oh, that's not going to do anything. I'm getting my butt kicked. Okay. Anyway. I'm just going to keep committing as I change these things because I am making quite a few changes in here for every state that I add, so. Add inventory state. No, it's 2D. Gotcha. Every time I focus on my game, I have to stop and search for a new job. Oh. I'm sorry to hear that. It's not cheating, but you have to pay attention to artistic cohesion. Assets that don't have the same style looks very amateurish. Yeah. Love the shine. FX. I'm learning Parallax FX today. I'm a graphic artist trying to understand code. Awesome. Yeah, thank you. Sound effects for sure, but the music and art just feels like you really need to customize it to your game. Customize isn't a good word. I'd really just mean that it feels like your art and music needs to be made specifically for your game and nowhere else. Yeah, I think I tend to agree, and that's why I'm hiring a musician. Well, he's not technically a musician, but that's why I'm hiring somebody to do the music for my game. Because I think the music is probably important. That's like going to be part of the game's identity. But yeah, the sound effects and stuff, not so much. Love this guy's art, so I might try find a way to make it work. Yeah, there you go. My cards are hexagonal. That's been fun trying to think out of the literary box. Yeah. So you have hexagonal cards on a hexagonal grid, I guess, or is that how it's working? That's kind of an interesting idea. I don't know if I've seen a card game that uses hexagonal cards. I assume if you're using hexagonal cards, then there's got to be some kind of like spatial element to it, right? Like placing the cards with certain adjacencies or whatever will change how the cards work or modify the card power in some way. Okay, so we've got the state combat start. Okay. Ordered states.add new tutorial state. State ID combat start. Entry condition is in combat preparation. And ctx.player inventory board, get cards on board that length is greater than 0. Completion condition is in combat. Yeah, we're probably going to need to do that as well. Okay. Exit condition. I don't think we need an exit condition for this one. All right, let's see what happens. Correct? Yeah, that sounds cool. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen, or maybe those games exist, but I don't think I've ever seen hexagonal card game. So that's pretty cool. I should start persisting these tutorial states so I don't have to run through the whole tutorial every time I start the game. Here we go. Okay, that is not going to the right place. That's okay though. Click start, that goes away. Auto resolve. Okay, so I think this is generally working. Let me see if I can... Let's go here. Set anchor. I need these things here. All right, let's just test that really quick and make sure that works. Using ECS management system like Hightail is using. Okay, awesome. Yeah, cool. ECS. I don't have much experience with ECS. But I would love to learn how to do such a system. Are you using Godot, Dr. Ham? Dr. Ham? I think that's looking pretty good. Yes, sir. Awesome. Godoters unite. Very cool. All right, so the tutorial is working pretty good so far. I am gonna have to try to break this, you know, with the asynchronous operations here. But we will see. We will see. I think what I'll do, just to prevent like async, like race conditions or whatever, what I might do is I might just break it up. Yeah, I might have to just break it up a little bit, but that's all right. Anyway. So this tutorial thing is not super interesting. I'm kind of losing interest in it right now. I mean, I am going to finish it, but I think it's pretty good. I mean, so far it's flexible enough to support all the tutorial states that I've got so far. And we'll see, I might need to extend this or change this a little bit in the future as I add more states, but let's do something a little bit more interesting. So last night I drew the Phalanx card here for the enemy. So we need to give this some abilities and whatnot. So I'm going to do that. We'll add some abilities. I think we'll use the abilities suggested by Jackie Daytona in the Discord. So let me pull that back up and see exactly what that was. But let's see. let's see. Converts its own damage to preserve and then gains bonus damage based on total preserve. Okay, we can do that. We can definitely do that. ECS is cool, though. It can get cumbersome depending on structure. I only started a week ago, but at 54, no time like now. There you go. Godoters unite. So you're saying people using Godot need more Unity? I am. That's what I am saying. Welcome back to the stream, Christian. Good to see you. Okay, I'm going to take a quick 3-minute break, and then when I come back, we will get the Phalanx card ability implemented. And so, yeah, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Coffee time, yes, indeed. Piano time. Hello, Budget Jim. Welcome back. Alrighty, let's see. So, did I already export the art? I think I might have, but let's see. Export Phalanx. We could close Discord. Oops. Quit Discord. Okay. Alrighty, so we have the Phalanx here. Here we go. So this is a 2x2 card. Oops, I gotta change the card. Oops, not that. The new default for turn cooldown is 15. So I'll change that. Is enemy, is flippable. There's a minion. Minion and weapon. Let's do that. Critical chance, 0.2. Minimum notoriety region 1 and 2. All right. And then we need to add the abilities. Okay, so we need a new... I redid this conversion system a little bit. So we've got this new conversion modifier here. This is used... Let's see, heal to poison. Okay. So let's just do this. Var damage to shield. Let's go to new conversion modifier. Okay, type of damage, type of shield. We'll do 1.1F, that's fine. So this takes a magnitude, float, ratio, convert, func. Okay, so this is ability magnitude, ratio. New shield, mathf.seal to int, get magnitude times ratio. Ability explanations, damage, yeah, shield, okay. Okay, so there's our damage to shield. And then we'll pass that in here, damage to shield, scaling func, description func, let's just do converts damage dealt to preserve. Okay, and then let's just do ability builder dot damage. So the other part was to deal damage based on current shield, right? So var damage based on current shield is equal to new composed ability. I think we need a status provider. New status provider. For target board is not correct. Ability builder dot ability configuration. Key is equal to damage based on current shield. Abilities is equal to status provider. Okay, we'll figure out the rest of this. So let's do var dynamic damage is equal to new dynamic magnitude ability. The problem here, piercing damage. Oh, we could do piercing damage too. I'm trying to think. So the problem is this actually can't do damage if it has convert damage to shield on here. So this conversion modifier, it will apply to any instance of damage that this card does. So I actually can't make the card do damage if it has that conversion here. Let me pull up the Discord again. Let's see. Discord. Let me read what the suggestion said again. Converts its own damage to preserve and then gains bonus damage based on total preserve. Yeah, so because this conversion is here, it's going to intercept any damage that's being dealt and convert that to shield. So I don't think that's going to be doable as written, but we can do something different here. We can still do damage based on current shield and have it apply shield. Phalanx were great at forward attacks but vulnerable to flanking. Gotcha, yeah. Hello, RN Genesis, welcome back. So here's what we're going to do instead. Instead of actually doing a conversion like up here, we're just going to have this do ability builder dot shield 10, and then we'll make this damage based on current shield. Okay, so var value scalar is equal to new value scalar. We need a status provider. Var generic value provider. New generic value provider. Var shield status is equal to status provider get status is where S is shield. I think that works. Make this an int. Okay, that should work. Return shield status. Oh. Okay, we got there. So we're grabbing the shield status. So we got the value scalar, generic value provider, value scalar dot set. Let's do this. Let's do var. Let's do const int damage per 5 shield. Damage per shield chunk, I guess. I don't know. Const int shield divisor is equal to 5. So we're going to do shield status stacks divided by shield divisor. This set multiplier is going to be damage per shield chunk. Let's do var current damage is equal to damage per shield chunk. Current damage. Okay, we're getting there. Value scalar, new damage, 0. Let's do ignore preserve, true. Okay, status provider, dynamic damage. Scaling func equals tier. Var ability scalars is equal to new ability scalars dot get damage scalar. Current damage is equal to ability scalar. Damage per shield chunk tier. Value scalar dot set multiplier current damage. Okay, and then we need the description func. Deals. Value scalar dot get multiplier. True damage per 5. Well, we'll change this to shield divisor. And this needs to be preserved. I don't know if that wording works, but we'll see. We can get rid of this now. All right, is that going to work? I hope it works. We'll have to see. We will have to see. All right, let's see what happens. The basic idea was for the phalanx card to be the defense is the offense, so that still works. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're still capturing that. It's just can't use the conversion specifically. Quick question, how are you handling your tooltips in Godot? I need to have a nice tooltips in my game. Need to have nice tooltips in my game, but not quite sure how to make a nice tooltip that appears when I hover over something. I always make my tooltips custom, so like my card tooltip. This is just a scene here with my tooltip layout. And then it's just a matter of detecting mouse events over the relevant items and then showing the tooltip. So in this case, I kind of have like a global tooltip, like there's only one instance of the card tooltip. And then I have a card mouse events manager. So the card mouse events manager handles the coordination of all of the mouse events from all of the cards. So the cards aren't triggering the tooltip themselves. What the cards are doing is the cards register themselves with the card mouse event manager, and then the mouse event manager will connect to all the signals on the cards relevant to the input. And then it also handles the state in terms of like when a tooltip can be shown. So yeah, that's the basic approach, but are your card objects ultimately Godot nodes, or are they C# objects that are associated to node scenes? So there's two parts to it. The card objects are pure, like the logical component of the card is this class here, this base card class. This doesn't necessarily have any visuals associated with it. And then when I do need a card, I have this card rendering server, which I should probably rename, but when I do need the card visuals, that's what this class is responsible for. So I can have the concept of cards that are just purely in memory that aren't actually in the tree. But when I go to add the card to the tree, it creates an instance of this card rendering server. And then those things are related to each other. So like the base card here has this card node. This card node property will be assigned when I want to add the card to the tree. And it will also be freed. So I have to manage the life cycle myself a little bit there, but yeah, so the logical and visual are separate from each other. Welcome back, Straight Pointer, by the way. Interesting, thanks, you're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome. All right, let's see if this phalanx works, I guess. Apply 10 preserve, deals 1 true damage per 5 current preserve. Probably need to change the turn cooldown there as well. Oh, I got into a little bit of a bug there. That's all right. Let's see if this works. Unfortunately, I'm not building up any preserve, but it is dealing the 2 true damage. And it did 4 true damage that time because it critted. Very nice. So yeah, this is working. Cool. I think that works pretty good. Can't complain about that. I think that's a pretty powerful ability, especially if the player can somehow get it. But yeah, I think that, there you go, Jack Daytona. Card rendering server equals card cabinet. I don't know if that's a joke. I'm missing it. It's going over my head. But yeah, your card is now in the game, Jack Daytona. Thank you for the suggestion. I think that's a really good card. Oh, one thing that I might want to do though is I might want to change the turn cooldown a little bit here. Bump it up by 1. Oh, I think you said you should rename the class. Oh yeah. No, I just want to rename it back to card node. I called it card rendering server because I was maintaining the old system in parallel with the new system. So that card rendering server was a refactor that I did of the card initially. So originally my cards were normal scenes with all the nodes and stuff. And that was causing issues when I wanted to instantiate lots of cards in a single frame. So I kept the old card node in place while I built out the parallel system, and then when I stripped out the old system, I just never got around to renaming that class, but that's all right. You need a better name for it? Yeah, I got you. Your cauldron is beautiful. Do you like it? I'm glad you like it. I bled and I sweat and I cried over it, and it turned out pretty good. I mean, I didn't do any of those things. I just spent a couple hours, but it's okay. It's okay. I think the cauldron is, yeah, that's definitely my favorite part of the game now, which is good because if the entire hook of the game is the alchemy system, then I want the alchemy thing to look as good as possible, as good as I can make it possibly. This cauldron can cook so many beans. Yeah. Whatever. It's fine. Thank you, Scope. I appreciate it. Welcome to the stream, by the way. Alrighty. So the phalanx is in... Oh, shoot. I put the phalanx on my tutorial branch instead of... on the master branch. That's okay. Here's what I'll do. I'll fix that. I'll just merge the tutorial branch into the master branch. There we go. That's what we'll do. Easy fix. Okay. So I'm pretty sure the tutorial system is going to work. I just need to build it out some more. But yeah, we're good. Why did you decide to code in C# instead of GD? I just like C# better. The more tools, more you know, like interfaces, abstract classes, that sort of thing. I just find it easier to create complex systems in C#. It's easier to follow the logic, easier to reason about, better type safety, all that kind of stuff. Got to take kiddo to the doctor. Have a great one, and see you again if you stream later. Awesome. Thanks for joining Ninja Link, and yeah, hope to see you later. Got you distracted, yeah. It's alright. It's okay. So we still need the flavor text for it, so we're not totally done with that. I only have a couple items left in the to-do list here. I'm trying to think. I mean, we can go back to the tutorial. I don't really want to work on the tutorial now, though, but... Will you legally IPO your game? I don't think so. I don't think so. Welcome back, December, by the way. Sorry, 1 second. All right, what should we work on now? We have more suggestions in the Discord, actually. Let's see. I'm just reading the Alchemorta suggestions in the Discord. So Ninja Link came up with the idea to add a reagent called the Soul of Boss, which is a reagent that applies a single ability from a boss item as a guaranteed innate ability. That sounds really good. Dang, there's so many good ideas and Alchemorta suggestions. So if you want your idea to be put in the game, join the Discord and go into the Alchemorta suggestions channel and just drop your suggestions there. There's a very significant amount of content in this game that is a direct result of viewer suggestions. So I'm absolutely open to putting anything in the game. So yeah, I do like that Soul of Boss idea. That's really cool. So basically the idea is this. After you defeat a boss, you get a reagent that has the ability of one of the boss abilities on it that you can put onto a card through the alchemy system, but then it becomes innate. And innate abilities cannot be alchemized onto other abilities. Or onto other cards, I mean. That would definitely be, that would be really cool because then it would be more meaningful to defeat a boss. Especially when I add more bosses to the game. The question is, yeah, I guess I'm worried about that being a little bit too powerful, but we can make it work. I've not seen a board, so it looks beneficial to have a to-do list. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, personally, I really like a Kanban style, like just so you can dump things that you have in your mind onto a board as a task that you can do later. I think it's very helpful. That's a dope as hell idea. It is, yeah. Being autistic, I'm at fault for thinking I can just remember it all in my head. Yeah, I find that it helps me to clear my head too, because if I've got like 10 different things in my mind, like everything I want to do, just logging it as like a 1-sentence or 2-sentence card and just throwing it in a backlog, it helps me like just kind of like, okay, now I can safely forget. I can take that item out of my head now because it's logged somewhere external. And then it also helps for prioritizing, right? So like I recently, just yesterday, this to-do list was much longer. I moved a lot of items out of the to-do list into the backlog because I'm working towards this internal goal of having the game in a very, very good state by the end of this week. And so having a deadline like that kind of, and having all the tasks that you have sort of like in the queue, it really helps just like let you know like what needs to be prioritized, right? So like, does this item need to be done for this next milestone or whatever? No, you just move it into a different lane, right? And so my to-do list basically represents everything that needs to be done for the next milestone. And then anything else that is like stuff that needs to be done but can be done later, that goes into the backlog. So I definitely think it helps. You know, I mean, it depends on what kind of person you are and what kind of organizational style you like, but for me, this works really well. Defeat at boss and baptism in blood raises qualities to demigod status, bonus improvement. Baptism of blood. Oh, that's cool. Gorgon blood plus equals defense. Okay, well, let's do the Soul of Boss then. Should we start with... Let's just start with the art for it. Oh man, this is... Now the question is, what size should the Soul of the Boss be? So if it's going to become a reagent... Let me think. Two by two. Yeah, I was thinking 2 by 2. So the size is going to matter quite a bit because the alchemy board is not, it's only a 3x3 board to begin with. So the size of the alchemy board directly restricts what you can alchemize onto. So if this is a 2x2 card, so if the soul of the boss was 2x2, you'd only really be able to put the boss abilities on like smaller cards, which is fine because the smaller cards will accrue negative abilities much faster as well. Or you can get a Death Orchid and increase the size of the board, and then you have a lot more room to alchemize that. I'm just trying to think. I think 2x2 is probably appropriate, yeah. Bosses have their own card asset for their soul. That could be something I could do. So I could do, or you know what, I could even randomize it, right? I could do soul, like 3 different soul cards, right? One is a 2x2, one is like a 2x1, one is a 1x1, and just randomize the size of the soul that you get. So that will add a little bit of extra intrigue to, like, maybe you defeat the first boss and you get a 1x1 boss soul, and it's like, oh, now I can put this on like all kinds of cards. But maybe you defeat the second boss and you get the 2x2 boss soul, and then it's like, well, that's still a very powerful card, but because it takes so much more space in the alchemy board, it kind of restricts my options. What do you think about that? So we do like 3 different boss soul sizes, and we just randomize which size is chosen based on when you defeat the boss. Capture 1 boss ability as absorbed ability that gets applied as innate. Then their soul size should increase power, otherwise small soul is kind of a bummer to get. Large soul, not small. Yeah, we could do that. So we could change the number of abilities that you get. Randomize boss soul size. On boss defeat award. The good news is I think that this should be doable. I don't think that this is going to be that hard to do with my existing system, and it is going to make defeating bosses a lot more interesting. Yeah, that's really cool. Okay. Maybe it doesn't go board grid, but boss blood directly is poured into cauldron and recolors liquid for 1 use only, and after confirmation from player, apply what's in the above grid, allowing full use of grid for cards to be bathed in boss soul blood, etc. Yeah, I think that's a cool idea. I mean, the reason why I wouldn't necessarily want to go that direction, though, is that because that adds a whole new, like, system that needs to be added, when I could achieve the same result by leveraging the systems I already have. So, I mean, that is a cool idea, but I'm kind of in the stage of development now where I don't want to add too much more complexity to the game. Basically, everything that I'd want to add to the game, I want to leverage my existing systems as much as possible. So I think the alchemy approach, the boss soul as an item approach, it's just like, it hooks very nicely into my existing systems and, you know, doesn't require this whole new system to be built, if that makes sense. But it is a cool idea. It is a cool idea. Okay, I think the most interesting part of this is going to be the functionality. So could also do a meet of champions from New Vegas, like combination where using multiple boss souls can be combined or something like that. Yeah, that's true. Card creation tool. Okay, let's do boss soul large. Let's just do a 2x2 here. Create. So 2x2. This is a reagent. Exclude from loot table, yes. Okay, I think that's it. So we've got the boss soul large. Are you planning to offer regional pricing for Argentina? Pricing is TBD still. So I don't want to make any promises, but there will be more information coming about that relatively soon, I think. So within like a month or a month and a half, I should have all that information available for you, but I just don't want to make any promises. Like I don't want to say anything and then later on it turns out that I do something different. So that's still being planned, all that's still being considered, but I will definitely let you know. I'll definitely let you know. I will say that I think, yeah, obviously regional pricing makes sense because, you know, I want people to be able to afford the game in their local currency for sure. But for reasons I can't get into, I can't make a commitment on that just yet. Maybe then you need less of it, so if one drop in the grid but multiple uses would give more grid space, a little goes a long way. Yeah, that's true. Okay, how are we going to do this boss soul? So we can basically copy this giant mushroom spore here. Alchemy absorb ability. Alchemy absorb ability. I actually don't know how this is working. Alchemy added ability. Oh, I see. Alchemy added ability. Just trying to think of how this would actually work. So, alchemy added ability. Might need to do some tweaks here to make this work, but that's okay. Okay, so I think I just do this. New alchemy added ability. Null. So we'll just do this for now. That should have updated my card IDs. Okay. Okay, so let's just handle awarding that card after the boss fight. So run manager, boss. So there's a question here. Instead of doing add combat reward cards here, get reward cards, guaranteed reward card IDs. I don't think I use this anymore. I might actually strip this out. Yeah, we'll get rid of that. So instead of picking random cards from the loot table, we can say is boss. So this is where we're going to want to return. So we'll do var reward is equal to card factory dot create card from ID, card ID dot boss soul large is owned by player true, reward dot get base composed abilities dot of type alchemy added ability first or default dot set is let's do this. Alchemy added ability is equal to this. Get reward cards. So the problem is I may actually not have state combat. Oh, it's killing the enemy board here. Okay, perfect. So I'm just trying to figure out what the best way of doing this is. Get reward cards. Board configuration model. Boss abilities is equal to board configuration model dot get cards dot first or default x dot is legendary dot get base composed abilities select x dot duplicate. Okay. I mean, I probably should add some safety checks in here, but we can worry about that later. Alchemy added ability. Okay. Public void set added ability. Set added ability, boss abilities, rng.rand range 0 boss abilities dot. We'll do a list here. I think that might work. I think that might work. Fingers crossed this game costs the same as a quarter pounder. In Argentina, 15 USD is not the same, right? $50 sounds fair for Argentina? I'm kidding, yeah. I will finally release my first commercial game in Godot after finishing your course. Bunch of tutorial and abandoned many prototypes. Awesome. Steam is kind of complicated to set up, but learned a lot. Yeah, Steam is a little bit... The first time I went to set up a game in Steam, it's like, what the heck is going on? And I still go into the Steam backend sometimes. I'm like, where do I change this option? How do I change this setting? It's not the easiest thing in the world. Does that mean a pop-up with choice to choose a reward, giving incentive to fight a boss over again for the chances at new ability? Yeah, so there will be a pop-up to choose a reward. But you can only fight each... There's 3 bosses on the map, and you can only fight each boss once during a run, so yeah. I know you're joking, people around here don't usually pay more than $7 for an indie game, gotcha. I had a lot of fun porting my game to Steam Deck, even bought one with the excuse. Alchemortis 100% Steam Deck playable? Yes, that's the goal. I'm in the process of trying to acquire a Steam Deck, but I may... Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I notice I'm playing more indie games than ever after buying my Steam Deck. Yeah, Steam Deck, I mean, the goal, yes, is to, when the game releases, be fully compatible with controller on PC or Steam Deck. Either or. Both and. I gotta look for innate now, let's see. Well, I guess there's nothing left to do except try this out. All right, let's see. Just for the sake of not being annoying, I'm going to remove this tutorial guide from the run manager so we don't have to see that. Awesome, yeah. I'm on Steam Deck now, and learning Godot is 100% on it, yeah. Indie AAA, no doubts. Oops. Shoot. Okay, I'm going to need to do something interesting. Var compose, let's do dummy ability. So this can't be null, so we'll just put a dummy ability in there. So there's our boss soul large. The other thing that I want to do here is probably do alchemy added ability that set is absorbed. I forgot actually where is this done. Maybe I don't want to do that. Well, I guess we could just try it. I don't know. We'll see. Let's just try it. All right, let's go fight this boss over here, see if I can catch up to it. I need a better way of triggering boss fights, I think, but that's all right. Great, it's gonna move away from me. It's gonna move away from me, don't do that. It's gonna be a little bit annoying to test. I think I should probably set up a way to like just automatically go into a boss fight. But we'll see what we can do. Oh, we're getting there. We're getting there. Dang it. Stop running away from me. Okay, here we go. We can fight the boss now. Innate adds the following ability as a guaranteed alchemy output to allied items. Innate projects to adjacent allied items applied to fire. Okay. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. All right, let's see if this works. Innate projects to adjacent allied items applied to fire. Look at that. And that's coming from the boss. All right, well, that seems to work. That seems to work. That was a little bit easier than I thought it was going to be. I don't know if I really like that code being here, though, but I think it's probably okay for now. So yeah, I think the only thing left really is to. So I am awarding that. I want to change the. Let me think. Do I want to offer other cards as well, or just the soul? Probably just the soul. Make a sacrifice and an alternative devoted to the boss equals instant summon. Well, that's what the patrol flag is. The patrol flag is, so there's two ways to fight the boss. There's that patrol, which will trigger the boss fight at any node that you visit that's under the sort of the patrol flag's radius. Or you seek out the stronghold, which is just a fixed node in the region. Those are the ways to trigger the boss fights. Eventually in the future, probably that patrol will turn into like an elite fight instead of a boss fight. But for now, it's just triggering the same boss fight for that region. Are you working on Alchemortis for like 8 months plus? A year now, yeah. GG, yeah. That works really good. Option to decline soul and receive multiple lesser rewards. I think what I might do is like just increase the sell price of the soul. So if you don't want the soul for whatever reason, you can at least get more blood out of it too. Or maybe I can make the soul sell for residue instead, you know. I think that there's some opportunities here. I got to think some more about that stuff though, but I think that is working. And we'll make the sizes like sort of change how many abilities you can get from the boss, I guess. So, yeah, but that's working. So there's more work to do on that system, obviously, but I think I need to go back to working on the tutorial for now. But if I do another stream today, we'll make that stream focused on doing finishing up the boss soul system. Stash equals inventory, yeah. So your stash is so your stash here is, yeah, whatever cards you're holding on to. And then this is your combat board here. And then, of course, there's the sell board, but that just destroys the cards and gives you blood for them. Oh, we're getting there. We're getting there. Kanban extension looks nice. It's just the Kanban community plugin for Obsidian. That's all it is. Anyway, I'm going to end the stream there and grab some lunch. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for being here. It's always appreciated. Auto sort. No, there's no auto sorting. Because there are certain items have certain synergies based on like the configuration of the board, and so I'm just going to leave it up to the player to play Tetris with their board. There's no need to do auto sorting because again, there are certain bonuses that apply based on like the positioning of your cards, so of your items. Yeah, I hope to see you again in the future stream, Dr. Ham. Thanks for joining. And welcome to all the new people. Welcome to all the familiar faces. Yeah, you can wishlist Alchemortis on Steam. The link for that is below. You can also join the Discord if you're interested in joining that community. That's also where I post my live announcements. So I stream every day at 10 a.m. Eastern, but I will also do like one-off streams here and there at random times, which I will post announcements for in the Discord. So thanks again, everyone. Very much appreciate it. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. And I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye-bye.